All right, this is the next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions, continuing our Saturday Night's Main Event retro review series. It's going to be Saturday Night's Main Event 20. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's jump right into it, man. This was the pretty much the final stop, just about on the way to WrestleMania 5. Everything was set up. This was the last of the storytelling before we get to the Grand Spectacular.
Big decision on Elizabeth, who's corner.
Exactly. She had to come out
Yeah.
and decide whose corner she was going to be in, either Macho Man Randy Savage or Mr. Lust in his eyes himself,
Mhm.
Hulk Hogan. This was February 3rd. I'm sorry, excuse me, February 16th, 1989, but they aired it March 11th, 1989, from Hershey, Pennsylvania. A whole packed house of 9,000 fans on hand to see this one. And that card was actually pretty good.
Mhm.
I got to agree. I'm sorry, I got to admit, I'm not talking right today. Vince McMahon, Jesse Ventura, is always on commentary for this one. Our opening matchup for this was Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Ravishing Rick Rude. And this was pretty much Rude is on pretty much the fast track right now to the IC
Mhm.
title.
Yeah.
And, Brutus Beefcake's on pretty much of a streak of his own. So this match was actually pretty good. But naturally, this match to both of these guys to save face has to end in a way other than a pinfall, and it ends in a disqualification thanks to Andre the Giant. And then, of course, who else comes out? Jake the Snake Roberts. But who makes this even more perfect is the fact that Big John Studd arrived. And
Yeah.
this was weird to me, and I wanted to get into this with you when we did the WrestleMania 5. It was weird how Big John Studd makes his comeback in 1989, goes into the Royal Rumble, he wins it, and then his last thing that he does is a special guest referee appearance, and then that's it. It's like that was weird to me. Like they looked like they were setting up a Big John Studd versus Andre the Giant at possibly SummerSlam '89.
Well, from what I understand, Andre hated him, so that's
Oh yeah,
why.
they were well
So
documented.
that's
He
why he
couldn't stand him.
Big John Studd quit. I forgot who told that story, but somebody told the story that Big John Studd said, "I quit. I can't deal with this guy anymore."
Yeah, it
So
was very well documented even back at WrestleMania 1. They
yeah.
hated each other.
Yeah. So I did like how Rude had he had Warrior on his tights.
Yeah, on the back of his tights.
Mhm.
He's getting ready to face the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 5 for the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
Brutus Beefcake is going to face Ted DiBiase, which didn't make any sense. There was no storyline there between the two. But this was at a time where most of the time at WrestleMania, for the most part, matches were just thrown together. However, the ones they threw together were pretty good. So that one was actually pretty good at WrestleMania. So Brutus Beefcake wins by disqualification with Andre's interference, but like I said, Jake the Snake came out with the snake, and Big John Studd came out to even the score with Andre. The next match was Hulk Hogan with his manager Elizabeth versus Bad News Brown.
Yeah. And Brad News had been spreading rumors about Elizabeth,
Oh yeah,
so Hogan had to avenge her.
of course he did. Why wouldn't Savage just finished before he turned heel, had just finished a storyline with Bad News
With Bad
Brown
News, yeah.
defending the title that they contractually honored their agreement with Bad News where he would be in a title picture, even though they never saw him as a champion. Me personally, I didn't either. But and this match really, it was supposed to end. It really should have been a disqualification. They're using chairs and all this stuff, and then Bad News he's like, hold on one second, he goes to the back and gets a shovel.
Yeah, at
And I'm
first I
like,
thought he was looking like he was gonna walk out because Bad News was notorious for just walking out of matches.
definitely.
Yeah, so he gets
But
the
yeah, he comes with a shovel. I'm like,
yeah.
what are we getting hardcore here?
Uh,
And this was ridiculous because with the chair shots alone, the match should have been over. And then there was a couple of times that Bad News would try to go after Elizabeth, and then all of a sudden Hogan would hulk up, and I mean Hogan did what Hogan did. He wins the match obviously against Bad News Brown because I've made this in one of the episodes we did on Hogan. Hogan never was pinned at a Saturday Night Main Event.
yeah, I like
There
how
was he lost a few times but never pinned.
Hogan did a Harley Race knee into the leg drop instead of the big boot,
Yep.
so it was a little different.
Oh yeah.
But it was a good match.
Yeah, I just love how Bad News goes, and now it's time for the Ghetto Blaster. Like he's calling out his move, and he goes for it, and Hogan dips his head, and I mean, I didn't mind that move. It was decent. His
I
finisher
like the
that
Ghetto
that
Blaster.
I liked it. It was just the guy doing it I didn't care for.
Yeah, I like how Jesse was calling Hogan a backstabber.
Of course he was. Well, in this case, honestly, I mean, in all our eyes right now, we're seeing Hogan as the heel.
Well, as an adult, yeah, not as a
Yeah,
kid though.
exactly. As a kid, we're like kick Savage's ass.
Hmm.
Now I'm like, I wish we could go back in time and Savage did it. But in any event, our next match before the match was the unveiling and the debut of the new $1 million championship
Hmm.
that Ted DiBiase would bestow upon himself. He's since he couldn't get a title, how Mean Gene put it, you went out and you fabricated yourself one.
That was
And
cool.
I like the $1 million belt. I
Hmm.
liked
It's
how
different.
scarce they defended it. You know, that every so often it would be put up for grabs. WrestleMania 6 and SummerSlam 91 was pretty much
Yeah,
the only two times. But
it fit his character that he would just
it
make a
did.
belt. You know.
It did. And it fit his ensemble perfectly. It worked. And Ted DiBiase would actually be facing the Blue Blazer, Owen Hart. And when they interviewed him, you can hear it in his voice that it was Owen Hart.
Well, I mean, now, yeah,
Now
but
we do, but
but
back then we didn't know who it was.
we didn't even know who it was. Yeah.
We just thought it was another cheesy gimmick that Vince is putting out
Yeah.
there that never gets a victory. And nothing changed here. Ted DiBiase beats the Blue Blazer.
It'll take 2 seconds.
Yeah,
He
seriously,
just like clothesline him. What do you do?
he power slammed him
Oh, okay.
for the pin. No $1 million dream on this one. He power slammed him just from the rope. Just
See,
grabbed him, went over. Blazers out of there, and then Blazer would go on to WrestleMania and lose to Mr. Perfect. Yeah, this was under 4 minutes too. So now, right after this is what everybody was waiting for.
the
They
decision.
brought they brought Elizabeth out. Now, before this, they showed you that Savage during the night was banging on Elizabeth's door,
Hmm.
you know, wanting to know an answer. And so now she comes out, and Savage quickly comes out to find out if his longtime manager is going to be in his corner or not. And when she said that she would not be in the corner of Hulk Hogan, he got all happy.
Right.
Like, yes, you know, now I'm going to beat Hulk Hogan and everything. And then she turned around and said, I'm not going to be in the corner of the champions either. She was going to be in a neutral corner during this contest. And Savage gets irate, and here comes Hulk Hogan. I'm going to rip your head off, blah, blah, blah. And so that's how that ended.
Yeah, he said out of respect for his manager Elizabeth, he wasn't gonna beat up Macho Man.
And
But
it's
that,
not your manager, dude.
well, yeah, it was his manager because she came out with him earlier in the night as his manager.
I know, but I'm saying it's just like this guy just thrust of himself
Hey,
upon
blame
Savage
Elizabeth.
and
She didn't have to get out. She didn't have to go out there with him.
this is true.
So, but and then Hogan just like, I'm gonna take back my WWF belt.
Yeah, now all of a sudden it's for what's
Yeah,
rightfully his.
right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, for a whole year, you know, my man Savage is the WWF champion, but now it's
Just
my
the play.
belt.
He was just a placeholder, unfortunately, but it was what it was.
It was, but I got to, you know, Vince has got to admit, the placeholder or not, he did a damn good
He
job
was a
in
great champion.
1988.
He was a great
Yes,
champion. There's no doubt about that.
they put it on the right
Yeah.
guy. If
And it
that, you
was
could
stupid that
thank Honky for this, because since Honky didn't want to drop that IC title to Savage, they said, okay, well, we have other plans for Savage. We'll
yeah,
make him the
and then
heavyweight
that's how
champion.
and then supposedly that's how we got the $1 million belt
Hmm.
because Ted DiBiase was supposed to win the WWF title supposedly, as legend goes. And so to appease him, they said, "Well, you could have your own belt. You could be the $1 million champion." So sometimes good things come out of bad situations like that. So
Yeah, but I still think DiBiase should have been in the main event status
I
going
agree.
forward. It was like
I
after
agree.
88,
He
it's
just
just
said
like he dropped off.
supposedly they also didn't want a heel champion. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, but let's go with Sergeant Slaughter. You know,
But
at
I
that
mean
point,
that was years
I know that
later
was a
though.
different
And
thing.
that was
But
just to
yeah,
get
at
the
that
belt
point, they
back on
didn't
Hogan. And that was just to get the belt back onto Hogan. So,
placeholder between Warrior and Hogan.
Right, yeah. So
The next match, and I really enjoyed this because I loved their matches throughout all of 1989. It made them both better. It was the Rockers versus the Brainbusters.
yep.
And
Tore the house down.
Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard had even admitted that they said they loved working with these two guys. They feel they made them better as well as themselves. And I've said this that this match should have been at WrestleMania 5.
Yeah.
Instead of the Rockers fighting the Twin Towers and Strikeforce fighting the Brainbusters, just switch them and have the Rockers and Brainbusters at WrestleMania 5. They're going to tear the house down. It would be the best tag team match other than the tag title match.
Yeah.
But whatever. In any event, they had their matches on Saturday Night Main Event, and this one unfortunately ended in a double count out. But this would be a 6-month feud in the making.
Mm-hmm.
That would just be phenomenal.
Yeah, the house shows and stuff like that. Yeah.
And this won't be the last time we talk about them on Saturday Night Main Event. And of course, our main event, which made no sense, was the Red Rooster versus Bobby Heenan's latest acquisition, Brooklyn Brawler. Go ahead.
How about they had that little backstory? How he attacked the Red Rooster. Heenan attacks the turns on the Red Rooster.
Oh yeah, on Primetime Wrestling.
Yeah, with the Brooklyn Brawler, and Brooklyn Brawler beats him.
Oh yeah, he hits him with the stool and hits Monsoon with the stool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, you don't hit Monsoon.
And then I like how he's down talking the Brooklyn Brawler too. He's like, well, you're nobody or something like that. I can make anybody. You're a nobody, but I can make.
But he's agreeing with him though.
He's agreeing with him. He hires him to take out
Red Rooster before he has to face him at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But Brooklyn Brawler has always been one of those best top 5 jobbers that they could always use.
Yeah,
it's a shame they never did the Horowitz gimmick with him, where you win a match, you get a contract.
They should have.
But he did get a pay-per-view. I think it was like 12 years ago with the Miz, when Miz was a fan favorite and Del Rio was in the mix. Brooklyn Brawler was on the card.
Oh Jesus!
I think it was a TLC match.
That was Mike Lombardi, right? That was his name. Was it Mike
Steve Lombardi?
Steve Lombardi. I'm sorry, Steve Lombardi.
Yeah, but one of the best top 5 jobbers.
Yeah. He's also an agent too, backtage agent.
Yeah. He worked for the company for years.
Yeah.
Years. He was a great.
But now the Red Rooster's a baby face, and he still sucks. They gave him that stupid.
And now he's got the stupid red on his head. He's got a ridiculous entrance theme.
Terry Taylor they cursed him from day one. They just ruined this guy.
Yeah, anytime he was in the only time they used Terry Taylor was when he was in there for a cup of coffee.
It was too late
for a Royal Rumble.
It was too late. Nobody cared. It was over.
He was a replacement at that in that one, and then they used Terry Taylor. But yeah, anytime they had him, crap. And it's a shame because Terry Taylor is an underrated wrestler.
He's actually a decent worker. It's just
he is.
Anyway, so they have this match.
Yeah, this 1-minute match that the Rooster rolls him up, and that's it. Brawler's lost. Rooster's got the momentum going into WrestleMania 5. Yeah. Of course, when he faces Heenan will be half beat up because Warrior beat the crap out of him. Of course, you don't get in Warrior's matches, man. He held that leg and got his ass kicked.
So overall, this was it's a decent Saturday night's main event. It was
a good final build up to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Set the stage.
Yep.
All right, so you guys make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.